Sometimes people walk into your life not to love you, but to test the parts of you that you haven't healed. And when you're lonely, confused, or craving comfort, you can mistake attachment for connection. You can mistake attention for affection. You can mistake temporary warmth for something meaningful. And that's where many people lose themselves, not because the person was bad, but because the situation was not aligned with who they truly are. Not every connection is meant to stay, some only reveal what you need to avoid. And when you understand this truth deeply, you stop begging for doors that were never meant to open for you. Sometimes a person enters your life with a smile so warm, a presence so comforting, that you think they are a blessing. You think they are the one who will finally stay, finally understand you, finally give you the consistency you've been craving. But life has a quiet way of teaching you that not everyone who feels right is right for you. Some people come wrapped in charm, but their purpose is not to be permanent. Their purpose is to wake you up, shake you, and show you the parts of yourself you've been blind to. There are moments when you meet someone and everything feels magical. The conversations flow, the laughter is effortless, and their attention feels soothing, especially when you've been starving for emotional connection. But as time passes, you start noticing small cracks. Maybe they disappear when you need them the most. Maybe their words don't match their actions. Maybe they show you affection in private but uncertainty in public. The confusion you feel is not a coincidence. It's a revelation. It's life telling you to pay attention, because this connection is not here to stay, it's here to teach. Think about the times you forced a relationship to work. You poured your heart into someone who gave you only half effort. You waited for messages that never came. You created scenarios in your head where they would finally choose you the way you chose them. But the truth is, they were never meant to stay. Their role in your life was to help you recognize your own pattern of holding on too tightly to things that are not meant for you. They were a mirror, reflecting the parts of you that needed healing. Daily life is full of these little lessons. Imagine a friend who suddenly becomes distant the moment you set a boundary. At first you feel guilty, you question yourself, you wonder if you are wrong for protecting your peace, but then you realize something powerful. Anyone who leaves because you chose self-respect was never supposed to stay. Their exit is not a loss, it is clarity. Life is showing you what kind of people cannot travel with you into the future you are building. Or consider the coworker who always smiles around you, compliments you, pretends to care, but the moment an opportunity for competition appears, they subtly sabotage you. You feel betrayed. You feel confused. But that experience teaches you to trust actions more than words. It teaches you discernment. It teaches you that some connections exist only to show you which energies you should never allow into your inner circle again. Sometimes the lesson arrives in the form of love. You fall for someone who seems perfect, someone who makes your heart race and your world brighter. But slowly they begin to pull away. They stop appreciating the little things. They stop prioritizing the relationship. You start giving more to compensate for what they no longer offer. And then one day you realize that the love you're fighting for is one-sided. The pain you feel is not punishment, it is guidance. It is life showing you that your heart deserves someone who shows up fully, not someone who shows up when it's convenient. Every person who leaves your life is not a failure. Sometimes their exit is the beginning of your growth. Sometimes their departure is the reason you finally focus on yourself. You learn to build your boundaries. You learn to recognize emotional manipulation. You learn to listen to your intuition instead of your desires. You learn to value your inner peace more than temporary comfort. Think about the plants you water. Some grow beautifully when cared for. Others remain dry, lifeless, no matter how much attention you give, no matter how much sunlight you offer. No matter how much you try, they simply do not grow. Relationships are the same. Some blossom with effort, others drain you no matter how much love you pour into them. But the difference is that people often keep watering the wrong connections out of fear of loneliness. They keep nurturing what cannot grow, and in the process, they neglect themselves. Life sends people for seasons. Some come to bring joy, some come to teach patience, some come to test your strength, some come to expose your weaknesses, and some come to remind you of your worth. But not all of them are meant to stay. The permanent people in your life will never make you question your value. They will never make you shrink yourself to be accepted. They will never make you compromise your boundaries to earn their presence. When you understand that some connections are lessons, not destinations, you stop taking every ending personally. You stop chasing people who show you they don't want to be caught. You stop trying to prove your worth to someone too blinded to see it. Instead, you start walking with confidence because you know that your journey is not meant for everyone. Only the people aligned with your purpose, your peace, and your growth will remain. And one day, you will look back and realize that the people who left your life early did you a favor. They made space for better friendships, better relationships, better opportunities, and a better version of you. Their presence taught you something, and their absence taught you even more. Because not every connection is meant to stay, some only reveal what you need to avoid. Any relationship that makes you lose yourself is too expensive to keep, because the moment you start shrinking who you are just to be accepted, you've already paid the highest price without even realizing it. Losing yourself doesn't happen suddenly. It happens in small, quiet, almost invisible ways. It begins the first time you stay silent just to avoid upsetting someone. The first time you apologize when you know you did nothing wrong. The first time you hide a part of your personality because you fear they won't like the real you. These small sacrifices feel harmless in the beginning, but over time they chip away at your identity, your confidence, your inner strength. Imagine being with someone who constantly makes you doubt your worth. You start questioning whether you're lovable. You start wondering if you're too emotional, too talkative, too distant, too much, or too little. You twist yourself like a rope, trying to perfect yourself in their eyes, and every twist hurts you a little more. But here's the truth: the right relationship will never require you to break yourself just to fit in. The right person will never make you feel like you need to shrink to be enough. In daily life, think about how you act around certain people. Maybe you have a friend who drains you with negativity, but you stay because you don't want to look rude. You let them complain, insult, gossip, and spread bad energy, and every time you listen, you feel a part of your peace slipping away. You leave the conversation feeling tired, heavy, and mentally exhausted. That heaviness is the cost. That exhaustion is the price you pay for a relationship that is taking more from you than it gives. Or think about a romantic relationship where you constantly adjust yourself to keep the other person happy. You dress differently because they don't like your style. You stop hanging out with certain friends because they feel insecure. You hide your achievements because they get jealous. Slowly, you become a stranger to yourself. You look in the mirror and don't recognize the person staring back. That loss of identity is the most expensive bill your soul can ever pay. Many people stay in unhealthy relationships not because they want to, but because they hope things will change. They hope the other person will finally appreciate them. They hope that if they love harder, give more, sacrifice more, the relationship will magically fix itself. But relationships don't heal through self-abandonment. They don't become better by you becoming smaller. Love doesn't grow when your identity dies. There's a story in almost every person's life about someone they held onto for too long. A friend who only came around when they needed something. A partner who loved with conditions, a family member who used guilt to control their actions. Each time you said yes when you wanted to say no, you lost a part of your strength. Each time you prioritized them over yourself, you lost a part of your freedom. Each time you tolerated disrespect, you lost a part of your dignity. These losses add up, leaving you empty, drained, and confused. But losing yourself doesn't just affect your emotional world, it affects your dreams too. Maybe you had goals, ambitions, plans that excited you. But the relationship demanded so much of your time and energy that your dreams began to fade. You stopped pursuing your career goals because they didn't support you. You stopped studying because they distracted you with drama. You stopped growing because they felt threatened by your progress. Dreams die quietly in the shadow of the wrong relationship. You see, life becomes heavy when you're carrying someone who is supposed to walk beside you but instead chooses to sit on your back. Relationships should lift you, not limit you. They should inspire you, not exhaust you. They should help you grow, not erase who you are. If a relationship is costing you your mental peace, your personality, your happiness, your self-respect, then it is too expensive. The price is too high, and you must learn to walk away before you're left with nothing but the pieces of who you used to be. Look at daily examples of healthy and unhealthy bonds. When you're with someone who genuinely values you, you feel safe. You feel understood. Your laughter is louder. Your thoughts are clearer. Your heart feels light. You don't have to pretend. You don't have to act. You don't have to dim your personality. But when you're with someone who drains you, you feel tense. Your smile feels forced. You overthink every word you say. You walk on eggshells. Your body feels tired even when you've done nothing. That heaviness is the sign that the connection is taking too much from you. Sometimes you have to sit alone and ask yourself a difficult question: am I losing myself in this relationship? If the answer is yes, then no matter how much history you share, no matter how long you've known them, no matter how much you hoped for a future with them, you must understand that your inner peace matters more. Your identity matters more. Your self-respect matters more. A relationship that requires you to sacrifice these things is not love. It is dependence. It is attachment. It is fear dressed as loyalty. And the moment you choose yourself again, everything begins to change. Your confidence slowly returns. Your energy becomes lighter. Your thoughts become clearer. You reconnect with your passions. You remember your worth. You rediscover the parts of you that were buried under someone else's expectations. That rebirth is priceless, and no relationship is worth losing it for. Because any relationship that makes you lose yourself is too expensive. To keep emotional peace is the real sign of a healthy bond. Because when you are connected with the right person, you don't feel like you are drowning inside your own thoughts. You don't feel like you're constantly fighting invisible battles. You don't feel like you have to explain your worth or argue for your place in someone's life. Real connection feels like exhaling after holding your breath for too long, like finally feeling safe in a world that never stops rushing. Emotional peace isn't loud, it doesn't shout, it doesn't perform. It simply settles into your life like calm water, reminding you that you deserve softness, stability, and clarity. Think about the times you've been with someone who kept you anxious. You checked your phone every minute, waiting for a reply that never came. You replayed conversations in your mind, trying to understand what you said wrong. You walked on eggshells because you didn't know which version of them you would meet today. That constant stress wasn't love. It was emotional chaos disguised as connection. The right bond doesn't make your heart race from fear or uncertainty. It makes your heart feel steady, warm, and grounded. Daily life gives us examples all the time. Imagine sitting with someone who asks how your day was, and they actually listen. They don't interrupt, they don't dismiss, they don't compare your struggles to theirs. They listen with intention. You walk away from that conversation feeling lighter. That is emotional peace. Or think about a friend who never judges you for being honest. You tell them your fears, your mistakes, your dreams, and they don't use your vulnerability against you. You feel respected. That is emotional peace. It's the invisible comfort that wraps itself around you when someone values your feelings instead of playing with them. In relationships that lack peace, even the smallest misunderstandings become storms. You argue over things that shouldn't even matter. You feel drained after spending time together. Your mood dips without you realizing why. These are signs your heart is working too hard in a place where it should be resting. The right relationship doesn't drain your energy, it protects it. It doesn't create confusion, it clears it. It doesn't make you feel alone, it makes you feel understood. There are moments when you meet someone and instantly feel relaxed, like your soul recognizes safety. They don't force you to pretend, they don't make you compete for affection, they don't make you feel like you're replaceable. Their presence feels like home, not a battlefield. That is what emotional peace looks like. It shows up in simple things, in the silence between conversations, in the laugh that comes naturally, in the comfort of being yourself without fear. Think about how many times you tried to hold on to someone who kept disturbing your peace. You told yourself it was love, but deep down you were suffering. Your mind was tired. Your heart was confused. You tried to fix things that you didn't break. You tried to love for both people. But peace cannot grow in a place where honesty is missing. Peace cannot exist where insecurity controls the relationship. You cannot feel calm around a person who enjoys disturbing your balance. Emotional peace is when you know someone will not use your feelings as weapons. It's when you trust that your tears won't be mocked, your silence won't be ignored, your happiness won't be resented. It's when you can express yourself without being afraid of being misunderstood on purpose. Peace shows up in the way they comfort you, not in the way they confuse you. In the way they communicate, not in the way they disappear when things get serious. In daily life, you see the difference clearly. When you spend time with the wrong person, you feel drained, irritated, unstable. Your smile feels forced, your thoughts become heavy. But when you spend time with someone who brings peace, the entire world feels lighter. Even the things that stressed you out earlier start feeling manageable. That is the power of emotional peace. It changes your mood, your mindset, your entire way of breathing. Many people chase passion, intensity, excitement, not realizing that these things fade quickly when the foundation is unstable. Passion without peace becomes pain. Excitement without respect becomes manipulation. Intensity without communication becomes emotional damage. Real love isn't meant to feel like a roller coaster. It's meant to feel like a steady walk on solid ground. It doesn't mean there are no challenges, but even during challenges, you feel secure, supported, and valued. Emotional peace is also knowing that you don't have to fight for someone's presence. They choose you consistently. They show up without you reminding them. They make you feel seen in ways that no grand gesture can replace. You don't have to decode their messages, analyze their tone, or guess their intentions. Peace is clarity. Peace is consistency. Peace is effort that you don't have to beg for. And sometimes you discover emotional peace only after leaving a place that destroyed it. You look back and realize how heavy you once felt. You realize how deeply drained you were. And suddenly, the quiet feels beautiful. The calm feels comforting. The silence feels healing. That is when you understand that peace is not optional. It is necessary. It is the foundation of every healthy bond, the light that guides you, the feeling that reminds you that your heart deserves safety more than anything else. Choosing yourself is not selfish. It is necessary because so often we live in a world that tells us we must put everyone else first, that our needs are secondary, that if we say no, we are being cruel or unkind. But the truth is, when you neglect yourself for the sake of others, you slowly fade away. You begin to live a life dictated by everyone else's expectations, by everyone else's opinions, and by everyone else's desires. You forget the rhythm of your own heartbeat, the dreams that make your soul come alive, the boundaries that protect your energy. Choosing yourself is the act of reclaiming what is rightfully yours, your life, your time, your energy, your happiness. Think about the times in daily life when you said yes to something you didn't want to do just because someone asked. Maybe it was staying late at work to help a colleague, even though you were exhausted. Maybe it was agreeing to a social plan when all you wanted was to rest at home. Maybe it was forgiving someone repeatedly, even when it hurt you, just to avoid confrontation. In those moments, you were sacrificing pieces of yourself. You were telling your mind, your body, and your heart that their needs didn't matter, that your well-being didn't matter, that your peace didn't matter. And while it might have felt like kindness, it slowly built a habit of putting yourself last until you forgot how it feels to put yourself first. Choosing yourself means creating boundaries even when it's uncomfortable. It means saying no to people who drain you, even when they are loved ones. It means walking away from situations that no longer serve you, even when your heart wants to cling. It means valuing your time and energy as treasures, not as resources to be spent on anyone who does not respect them. In daily life, you see this in small ways: deciding not to engage in gossip that will damage your mental peace, choosing to leave a toxic conversation rather than arguing endlessly, deciding to prioritize your health and sleep over someone else's demand. Every choice like this is a brick in the foundation of a strong, self-respecting life. Many people confuse choosing yourself with selfishness, but it is actually the opposite. When you prioritize your own needs and health, you gain clarity, strength, and energy to actually show up for others in a meaningful way. You cannot pour from an empty cup. A parent who ignores their own exhaustion cannot care for a child with patience. A friend who constantly sacrifices themselves cannot provide real support. A partner who has lost themselves cannot contribute love that uplifts. Choosing yourself replenishes your cup so that what you give to the world is genuine, not forced, not resentful. It allows you to give from abundance rather than scarcity. In daily life, this could look like setting time for self-reflection, for hobbies, for personal growth. It could look like turning down invitations that leave you depleted so that you can recharge. It could look like telling someone firmly that their behavior is hurting you and refusing to compromise your self-worth for temporary peace. It could look like investing in your education, health, or career even when it requires saying no to social obligations. Every act of choosing yourself is a statement you matter, your life matters, your happiness matters, your growth matters, and it is non-negotiable. Choosing yourself also means learning to listen to your intuition, to trust your inner voice, even when it goes against external pressures. Daily life presents constant examples, a gut feeling that someone is not trustworthy, a whisper in your heart telling you to leave a draining environment, an instinct to protect your mental health from toxic influences. Listening to these signs is choosing yourself. Ignoring them is self-betrayal. When you honor your own wisdom, you create a life that is aligned with your values, your dreams, and your emotional peace. Sometimes choosing yourself is the hardest thing you can do because it means standing alone for a while. It means letting go of relationships, habits, or environments that you have grown accustomed to, even if they are familiar. It means resisting the pressure to please everyone else and daring to please yourself. In daily life, this can be seen in people who quit jobs that pay well but harm their well-being, people who leave friendships that are toxic even when everyone else encourages them to stay, people who end relationships that no longer nurture their growth, even when society tells them love is about sacrifice. Each of these acts is an act of courage, a refusal to let your life be controlled by others, and an affirmation that you are your own priority. Choosing yourself is also about valuing your time, energy, and emotional investment. It's about refusing to chase people who do not reciprocate, refusing to work tirelessly for recognition that will never come, refusing to compromise your principles for approval. In daily life, this is shown by people who set clear limits with coworkers, friends, or family. It is choosing to leave situations where you are undervalued. It is dedicating time to your passions and goals without guilt. It is standing firm in your choices, knowing that self-respect and self-love are far more important than temporary comfort or fear of judgment. The act of choosing yourself is revolutionary in a world that constantly asks you to give, to bend, to adjust, to diminish. It is a declaration that your existence is sacred, that your heart is valuable, that your dreams are worth pursuing. It transforms how you see yourself and how you interact with the world. It is the seed of confidence, the anchor of peace, and the spark of authenticity. The more you practice choosing yourself, the more you realize that the world does not diminish when you prioritize yourself, but rather it expands because the energy you bring into your life becomes pure, intentional, and powerful. Choosing yourself is not selfish, it is necessary. The right connection strengthens your identity, not confuses it, because when you are around people who genuinely care for your growth, your essence becomes clearer rather than clouded. A healthy bond never asks you to dim your light or question your worth constantly. It does not make you doubt the choices you make or the person you are becoming. Instead, it becomes a mirror that reflects your strengths, your values, and your potential, showing you parts of yourself that you may have forgotten or overlooked. Every interaction with the right person adds clarity, confidence, and courage instead of leaving you lost and second-guessing yourself. Think about daily life examples. Have you ever met someone whose presence instantly made you feel more alive, more confident, more yourself? Maybe it's a friend who listens without judgment, who celebrates your victories without envy, who challenges you to grow while still accepting you exactly as you are. Being around them doesn't make you question your choices, it reassures you. It doesn't leave you anxious about your identity, it reinforces who you are. This is the power of the right connection. It aligns with your inner compass instead of creating storms in your mind. Contrast that with relationships where you constantly feel the need to adjust. Perhaps it's a colleague who subtly undermines your ideas or a partner who makes you question your decisions at every turn. You leave conversations wondering if you are overreacting, if you are too sensitive, or if you are simply inadequate. That confusion is a sign that the connection is not strengthening you, it is diluting you. The right connection never leaves you questioning your identity, it helps you discover it. It creates a safe space for your personality to grow, for your voice to be heard, for your values to be expressed without fear. In daily routines, this can be as simple as having someone in your life who supports your ambitions. Maybe you want to start a new career, pursue a hobby, or take a risk that excites you but scares you. The right person encourages you, guides you, and celebrates your initiative. They give constructive feedback without diminishing your spirit. They push you to refine your skills, but never make you doubt your potential. Every interaction is an affirmation that your goals and your dreams are valid, and that your identity is worthy of respect. Sometimes we fail to notice the subtle ways connections confuse us. It might be a friend who constantly asks you to act differently to fit their expectations, or a partner who criticizes your choices under the guise of concern. Over time, these tiny acts chip away at your confidence. You begin to second-guess your values, compromise your principles, and hide aspects of your true self. The right connection never does that. It never asks you to shrink or mask your identity. It provides encouragement that aligns with your essence, and it challenges you to grow without fear of judgment. In real-life experiences, people often realize the importance of such connections after leaving relationships that were toxic or draining. Suddenly, they notice how much clearer their sense of self becomes when they are not constantly being questioned or manipulated. They rediscover passions they had suppressed, express opinions they had held back, and feel the freedom to exist fully without anxiety. The right connection acts as a catalyst, amplifying the best versions of ourselves instead of blurring our self-perception. Another example can be seen in workplaces. Imagine a manager who supports your growth without micromanaging every move, who trusts your decisions, and who gives credit where it is due. Working under such leadership strengthens your professional identity. You feel competent, capable, and confident in your contributions. In contrast, a manager who constantly criticizes without constructive guidance confuses your sense of ability and makes you question your worth. The right connection at work or in personal life always encourages authenticity, not confusion. Relationships that strengthen identity also foster resilience. When you are faced with challenges, setbacks, or criticism, the right connections remind you of your core strength. They provide perspective, encouragement, and support rather than amplifying your doubts or insecurities. In daily life, this could be a mentor guiding you through a difficult decision, a friend cheering you on as you face a personal challenge, or a partner standing by your side while you navigate uncertainty. These connections reinforce your values, affirm your choices, and remind you that your identity is steadfast even when circumstances are chaotic. Emotional intelligence is heightened in the presence of the right connection. You begin to understand your reactions, recognize your triggers, and refine your responses because someone who strengthens your identity provides honest, loving feedback. They do not manipulate you or gaslight you. They help you see yourself clearly, and in doing so, they cultivate a deeper understanding of who you are and who you want to become. In daily life, you notice it in the way you speak and think around them. You express yourself freely without fear of ridicule. You explore ideas and take risks without hesitation. You make decisions with confidence, knowing your values and principles are supported. Your identity feels whole, intact, and honored. And this, more than any fleeting excitement or temporary validation, is what makes a connection truly powerful. The right connection strengthens your identity, not confuses it, because it aligns with your essence, elevates your confidence, reinforces your values, and nurtures your growth in every aspect of life.